Welcome everybody to day 100 of the 365-day challenge. We thought that we would take a little bit of a detour from the typical tips and tricks and demonstrations and ask Bryan kind of what his experience has been throughout this 100 days. So please make sure that you're participating. We've got the questions up if you guys comment or anything like that. If you guys have your own questions, please feed them into the comments, and I will ask Bryan those questions live right here, right now. So please participate, ask your questions. Try to trick Bryan if you can. Put him on the spot. That way he doesn't have those opportunities to prepare for these live events like he normally does.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
You forgot to say, Happy Tuesday.
Oh, Happy Tuesday. Yeah. Every day before a live event, Bryan goes, "What day is it?" I'm going, "Tuesday." He goes, "Okay, all right. Happy Tuesday, everyone."
And that is true, by the way. That is true. I mean, I think we've all lost track of time during these, these really unprecedented times. And there's every day I go, it is Tuesday, right?
Yeah.
So those are real. There's a lot of things that happen behind the scenes. Trust me.
So I'm going to start this off. I have a couple questions of my own, and then I've also got some viewer questions that have already came in. So to start off, Bryan, just remind us again, why did you start this challenge? What was the motivation behind it? What was the idea behind it? What did you hope to accomplish?
You know, the motivation is even greater than what it was when I started. You know, I would have never known how prophetic that first week in February was when I did that very first video, holding up the two cards of 0 and 0, meaning the number of dogs euthanized in this country and the number of people suffering from clinical depression. Never did I know that right behind the corner, just around the corner, was a pandemic waiting. So I was talking about in that very first video about how stressed we are as humans. We're incredibly stressed, and that's what's driving clinical depression to become the number 2 debilitating disease worldwide. And I always think about dogs, how powerful they are. That every dog, why should we train therapy dogs for other people when we can have our own therapy dogs? We all need a little therapy from time to time. And it's amazing. Now I look back after 100 days and I go, wow, boy, do we need it more than ever.
Right.
So that's why I think my mission to turn every dog that we own into something that lowers your blood pressure, lowers your stress response, makes you happy, finds that one moment in your day where we're all grasping for that little bit of sunshine, that little bit of happiness right now, that little bit of certainty, instead of wondering what's the future going to hold for us, for our children. More than ever, we need that therapy dog. So again, I had no clue that was coming. And so now I have my resolve to push through this challenge and to keep doing everything I can to make dog ownership the incredible experience it can be. Man, I'm ready. I'm ready to go. Let's keep going.
Yeah, and I know that, just through talking with you, we did not foresee this whole, shelter in place thing happening, and it's like you said, it's more so now than ever before that people are needing that therapy dog inside their house, because whether it's stressing them out or whether they just absolutely need that therapy, they have to deal with it one way or the other. And I don't think we could have done this whole challenge at a better time, really. So.
Yeah, it's been challenging from a logistics standpoint, trying to remain safe. We all remain safe. You see Josh and I sitting close by one another. We kind of count on one another and our whole staff here to remain safe. Because of what we do, even wearing a mask is difficult because it can frighten the dogs. They don't know how to read our signals that we're trying to give to them. So I count on all of our staff members to be safe. I count on you to be safe and to be hopefully clear of any sort of the coronavirus, so that I will be clear of it. Because we have to come to work. I have to shoot these videos. And I rely upon our staff to help me so much. Like right now, I have Joshua here, and I have Morgan standing back here behind the camera. So it's never just a one-man show. I've got Kira at home fielding viewer questions, bringing things to me that will help me address over the next 265 more days to come. So it's been a challenge, even with the pandemic, I'll tell you for sure.
So you just mentioned 265 days to come. So
Yeah.
So What have you learned in your first 100 days?
I've learned that a year is a long damn time. I'm just going to be honest with you. You know, when you count every day, I may not know what day it is, meaning it's Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday, but I know it's day 97. I know it's day 98. So, of course, math was never my strong suit. It just wasn't. I always joke around with people and tell everyone, I did great in math till they added the alphabet. And then from that point on, I'm like, why? What's the point? But when you have to count every day and all of a sudden you get to like today 100 and you go, oh, I'm not even a third of the way there. I can do that math. So, you know, and speaking of that, so you a lot of times you look at it and you go, oh my gosh, I got 265 days left. But then I look at it and go, oh, will I stop there? There's a lot of people ask that. Will I stop there?
Yeah, and that was my next question. I said, you know, with it only being 100, and we've put a lot of time, you've put a lot of time and effort into all of this. It's crazy to think that you've been playing with maybe doing it for 2 years straight.
Yeah. I probably will take one little break, and then I may start up again, and I don't know if I'll commit to another 365 days.
By the way, I put those words in Bryan's mouth.
Yeah, he and I'll have a little chat as soon as we get off this thing live here. No, it's really been, I've learned a lot. You know, and honestly, a lot of people ask me, how do you come up with all of these videos? How did you come up with 100?
Yeah, that's one of the viewer questions.
Is it?
Where do you come up with your content? Where's your ideas come from?
Well, some I have. Some are inside of me. I've been doing this for 40 years. I was raised in the wild. You know, like a lot of great ethologists will say, especially Dr. Franz de Waal, he will say, if you're going to experiment on an animal, or you're going to try and modify its behavior, you should not advance one step in that direction until you have spent a minimum of several thousand hours studying the natural, spontaneous behavior of that animal. And that I've done. So a lot of this comes from my personal experience, being able to observe animals, and then 40 years of being in every part of the pet industry that you can imagine. Mm-hmm. I've been a police canine officer. I've owned a veterinary hospital. I've trained service dogs. I've been a competitor. I've been a groomer. I was actually a groomer for about 2 years. Not because I wanted to, but because I had to. I've done everything. I've scooped poop. I've scooped the most rainbow poop you've ever seen in your whole life. I can brag about poop all day long. I've had puppies. I've had older dogs. I've had pharmacotherapy dogs. There is no realm in the pet industry that I have not been a part of, either personally or professionally. Mm-hmm. And then I study.
So I know you often come to me with, you know, you'll say, I was walking the other day and I saw this, and it gave me a perfect idea for a Facebook Live. So I know a lot of your content comes from just spontaneous, oh, that's a good idea. And then you bring in your past experiences into explaining those specific circumstances, looking at the world in a completely different way for the pet owners who don't have the time.
Yeah, the whole thing's a laboratory. Yeah. All you people out there, you're lab rats. Yeah, don't think for a second. If I ever see you walking by with your dog, I'm going to be frank with you. I'm studying.
Yeah.
I'm looking for what is going wrong with this picture here. Why is this dog pulling? And why is that dog actually barking when we look around and we don't see a reason to bark? Would that be global communication? Would that be local communication? You're absolutely right. I almost to a degree, almost like a curse. Mm-hmm. I think about it all the time. I can't even go for a hike that I'm not studying the plants that are in the forest, the trees. Why did this tree fall at a particular angle versus the other angle that the other trees have fallen? Yeah, it's almost a curse. I'm constantly thinking about it. But also, I'm constantly studying. I've learned so much, so many things I didn't know. I probably come across on a whiteboard like, wow, listen to Bryan explain it. He really knows that material. Yeah, I do now. I didn't know some of that material prior to doing this challenge, but to provide what I consider very useful information. I never want to have a filler video. Mm-hmm. Never. I want every video to be real, to be impactful, something that you just makes you stop and go, I get it now. And to do that, you've got to get deep, deep into the subject, deep into the animal kingdom. And it's driven me back into some books that I haven't dusted off in years. But it's been fascinating. I've learned so much from this, and I can't wait to see what I'm going to learn over the next 265 more days.
So what has been the most challenging aspect of all of this? I mean, I've been part of some of the technical stuff. But what are some of the challenges that you face? What is the most challenging thing?
I think the most challenging thing is just doing the video every day. Finding the way, the ability to even do it. Everyone has tracked me, if they've been following these videos, that all of a sudden I'll be in the mountains. And then I'll be in the city. And then I'll be out on a trail. And you don't always have cell phone coverage. You don't have the ability. You don't have internet. You don't have Wi-Fi. There's no cell phone coverage, so you can't shoot a live video. I can shoot a video, but it's not the same thing. I promise to come on the screen live every day. So that's been a real challenge. There's been many times I've driven for 9 hours. You're tired. You arrive at your destination, you unload your vehicle, you unpack everything, and they're an hour or two ahead or an hour or two behind, and you're exhausted. But I made a promise. And I plan on, as long as I'm healthy, and I'm blessed to still be healthy, and all of us are, to keep doing this. But that's been the hardest challenge, is just finding the ability to do it every single day. And then not to mention all the technical things. Oh my gosh, about everything that can possibly go wrong, unless something's about to happen right now, has gone wrong. I've always said we should have a camera set up filming the Facebook Live videos. I remember standing here one day, and I'm just talking away to all my friends out here in Facebook Live, and our neighbor's building is on fire. Yeah, while I'm talking to you, there goes a fire truck, and another fire truck, and a police car, and an ambulance, and the show must go on. And then not to mention the facial expressions that you guys make all the time. They'll be filming, and I'm talking to you, and all of a sudden you see, and then they're looking around and they're going, doing this, like, who are you talking to? Or Josh will have his famous. I'm like, what does that mean? We didn't do the body English thing like a dog. I'm not picking up the signal. Remember semiotics? Your signal, your interpretation, your referent. I had no referent. I had no interpretation. And yet I'm trying to pick this up. So guys, I'm telling you, if we got to start filming that, because we would have one blooper reel after another of what it's like to stand here in front of this camera and talk to you when complete chaos is going on around you. Yeah. Oh, I'm telling you what, I have learned so much about how to do that and just try to get by with it.
And I've joked since probably day 2 that after this is all said and done, we need to do our second video series, which is 365 days of what not to do during Facebook Live.
Amen. I've learned how to turn the camera around so your letters aren't backwards, like when you see ambulance in your rearview mirror. We've learned about adjusting volume, when the microphones work, when they won't work, and what settings you have to do. Yep. I'm telling you, it's a steep learning curve. And the hardest part is realizing dead smack in the middle of your video, something went wrong. But yet you have no clue. No clue. You're trying to watch them, keep going, keep pointing to the whiteboard, keep holding the dog, working the dog, while utter chaos is going on.
As a matter of fact, that's why Morgan is here right now. The camera is on a tripod, but we said, hey, will you just let us know if something goes wrong? That's all we need to know.
Yeah. Just start giving us the old, big eyes and the crescent moon or whatever that it is. Even using our technology and the other sets, like the day that it's a very serious topic that I was talking about, and I'm trying to show the videos. And he kept going to the picture of the dog laying on his back rolling in poop. I go, are you kidding me? Why?
Very serious.
Yeah.
But, yeah.
So that's the funny part of it, guys. It really is. It's just a real challenge. And if you want to find out what it's like, go do it. Because you will find out. If it can go wrong, it will.
So I know that from my own personal experience, there's been a lot of things that we did not foresee because of this challenge. What are some surprising things that have surfaced because of this challenge?
You know, they've all been delightful, honestly. Yeah, of course, you know, the pandemic is what it is, but the fact that how far these videos have reached. You know, when I'm getting emails and receiving messages from people in Australia, Pakistan, Africa, Canada, South America, globally, that was a surprise.
Right.
You know, I kind of get the local scene. I didn't realize how far it would go. And I'm going to be honest with you, that has been an incredible motivator for me. Because there are days in which this is extremely challenging. As you got to think of the content, how to prepare for the content. You know, Kara has lost probably some of her husband, just a little bit of it, because she sees me in my preparation to do this. So on days in where you go, is it worth it? Is what I'm doing, is it worth it? Does it really mean anything to anyone? Because, you know, when you stare at this screen like we're doing right now, it doesn't make a face. It doesn't nod its head. It doesn't disagree. It's like talking to a wall. And sometimes you can feel like it's going off into space. Like, is anyone out there? And suddenly, during sometimes my little darkest moments, a voice will come from afar. And they'll say, "Hey, Bryan, thank you. You touched me. You saved my relationship with my dog. You saved me." And those of you who do that on occasion, I can't thank you enough, because it's what drives me. And when I say me, I don't want to do it from a selfish standpoint. I have an entire team surrounding me. I have Joshua, who I can bounce ideas off of. I have my wife that when we go on our morning walks or we sit together in the evening, she's feeding me questions. She's giving me feedback. I mean, we have our entire staff here supports and does other things. They're out training dogs while we're filming. It's, and I share with them. I share with everyone the comments that we receive, the support that we get, and the gratitude. And so know that we are thankful for your gratitude, because it means that I no longer look at the screen and just see a little bitty black dot on a square box, a rectangular box. I see you. I see you as that dog owner. I see you as that dog owner that's struggling. And I see you suddenly not struggling. I see you smiling when you probably haven't smiled in about a week. I see a glimmer of hope. I see dogs being what they were always meant to be for us. So those of you, that's been probably the biggest surprise that I've had, is the number of people coming forward, the support. I didn't know what to expect, but I will tell you this much, I didn't expect that.
Right.
So, you know, and it's hard for me. I'm doing, it may not look like it, but I'm struggling to keep it together. It's that emotional for me. So thank you, and that's been my biggest surprise.
Yep, I know that those moments when you'll forward me a message that you received, somebody letting you know how much you've impacted them, and I just get goosebumps. And so I thank you for allowing me to be a part of this. It's been fantastic. So another question, kind of put you on the spot here. Okay, so I know you didn't bring it up in challenges, but I know one challenge that you do face is some of the content that you cover in these videos is so deep. It gets so involved, so many different aspects and variables to consider when talking about these, that you struggle to put it within a time frame that is viewable, right?
You're being polite.
Yeah.
You must have really worked on that last night.
Yeah. So if you guys don't know, one of the biggest issues is that sometimes we want to go for 30 minutes, 45 minutes, an hour easily on some of this content. And one of the biggest struggles is we don't want to burden you guys with, if you guys want to know this information, you have to commit yourself to a full hour of watching this one video. So we try to keep it within bite size. If this was the last video, if this was it, we committed to ourselves to 100 days, and you have, let's say, 30 to 45 seconds to get one more message out to the dog owners out there, what would that message be?
Question everything. Question everything. One of my biggest motivators behind this, of course, already talked about to achieve our own therapy dog, would be to make sure that the information that I'm providing to you is based in science, based on nature. She's never wrong. Never. Just because you believe it so doesn't make it so. The pet industry as a whole is inundated with terrible, misleading, factually incorrect information. And I've seen, unfortunately, the devastating effects that when people take this information for what they believe is the gospel when it comes to dog training, dog behavior, and they let their children walk right into a buzzsaw, right into harm's way, or themselves. So if I gave one piece of advice, question everything. If your common sense ever screams at you and says, I don't think this is right, this doesn't seem right, listen to it, heed it, but question everything, and then proceed on based upon your own common sense, your own reasonableness, your own experiences in life. Go forward with it. And then once you're past that stage, have an open mind. And I can sit at golly, again, here we go again.
Yeah, I think your 45 seconds
I think
is
my
up.
45 seconds is up. And by the way, just in my defense, Joshua, you've seen him. I've asked him to join me on several videos. And at the end of the video, he'll ask real quickly, so how long was that? And we'll get that was 35 minutes. And Joshua will go, are you serious? No way. And I'm sitting there going, see what I'm talking about? Yeah, when you're doing this, I'm not looking at a watch. I'm not looking at a clock. I'm thinking about the information that I'm putting out. And is it viable? And is it something that you could really, really use?
So we have a couple comments. Just give me a second to make sure there's not any questions in here. A couple people are saying, Shelly Patterson said, oh my gosh, I don't even have a dog right now, but I still watch daily because I know I will have one again soon. And that is the type of that's amazing that people are educating yourself before you even have a dog, because I think that's a huge thing. Is a lot of people get dogs and they go, oh gosh, I got myself into something I didn't really expect.
Amen.
And so
you need to do your homework before you get your dog, and you already need to be knowledgeable before you get your dog. The time to start learning is not, dogs should not be on-the-job training.
Mm-hmm.
You need to be prepared before you own a dog so you can make the correct decision. Am I a good dog owner? Would I make a good dog owner? And then what would make the best dog for my lifestyle? And then take into account, do I have children? And what's a good dog to have with children? I mean, there's so much preparation has to be done. You have to plan, you have to prepare, and make sure you do that, because poor animals, it's not the time to find out. Once they're in your life, you're vetted into them, and they're vetted you, and to now decide, I made a bad mistake, bad move. And now you have an animal who's a breathing, living, with a heartbeat, has emotions, not on the level that humans have, but on the levels that we don't know. And now all of a sudden, it's gone. And where it ends up, no one knows. No one knows for sure. So please do your homework, study, be ready, and then what you do, don't bail out right off the bat. Give it a chance. Be patient.
Perfect. Okay. Does anybody have any further questions for Bryan before we kind of wrap this thing up?
How long has it been?
Yeah, how long?
There we go.
24 minutes.
24?
Okay.
We've done good in 24 minutes. I'd like to just say one last thing. Again, thank you to all of you out there. I look forward to the next 265 days. We have some really good information that's about to come out. Some of this has been laying the groundwork for other material to come. You have that knowledge. Again, like I said, you don't want to do this OJT, on the job training. It's preparing you for what's to come next. And also, I look forward to the fact that we're starting to slowly reopen. We were talking about this morning, we've wanted to shoot these videos actually away from here. We want to show, how do you train a dog to become comfortable in an elevator? And what do you do when there's a dog in an elevator? Where should you be in that elevator? No one likes the what's behind door number 2. Right. How to tackle stairs, open air stairs versus enclosed stairs. How to do that. There are so many things, to go to a cafe with a dog, to go to a department store with a dog, that unfortunately we just, because of shelter-in-place orders, we have not been able to cover. But hopefully we will. So I look forward to a lot more adventures type videos and some deeper material. And some will get to be a little bit controversial, but at the end of the day, I'm only going to present it in a way that I guarantee you your logic-driven mind will agree.
All right. Well, everybody, thanks for tuning in. Don't hesitate to ask Bryan those questions if you come up with them later, or if you're watching this post-live. So again, guys, thanks for joining us, and guess what? Bryan will see you guys tomorrow.
Yeah, you're right. Count on it. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care.